Hey, friends. We decided to use up to the last second to talk about all of our issues with travel and government scheduling. But you don't care about that because you scheduled yourself to sit down and watch this live or video on demand version of Shipbreakers, Stars Without Numbers Revised, Episode 30, featuring the crew currently of the Golden Goose. We'll see. I mean, could be an episode. Could be an episode. And their journeys through Cress Wayside. It has been almost a month since we sat down to have an episode, and boy, my YouTube viewership counts make it really obvious that this has been a light month for sure. Viewership's down 20%, so I'm glad we're back. That said, I'm going on vacation next week, so I guess get fucked. Hey, we've got goals. Let's figure out what they are.
I look at my notes from like a long time ago. My goal is to speak to Zach. I feel like that's still super relevant.
Okay, putting that down. Speak to
How
Zach.
unachievable it might be in this episode, I don't know, but I still think that for Van-Vee is probably the most important thing.
Well, the first thing you got to do is find the system he's located in and then convince the crew to go there.
Yes, well,
That's why I accept this as a very valid goal.
hopefully, after helping someone's sister, we can help someone else's brother. Just maybe.
I see.
Well, yeah, speaking of sister, so Quentin's goal, I believe, is essentially to convince Zoe to help rebuild Lita or join the Order of the Golden Goose, depending on sort of where she's leaning. But yeah, get her on board. Get somebody who can actually go back.
I'll give you that leeway. All right.
So the stretch goal is get her on board with the larger organization, but at the very least, Quentin does need someone who can go back and actually be on planet in charge, because he's out here doing stuff.
MINERVA still wants to get a spike drive to the Hosta.
Okay. I mean, you got to put in an order for a cruiser level spike drive. And it has to be compatible with 600-year-old technology.
We've got a Van-Vee for that.
And it has to be installable on location rather than in dry dock or in a station. Boy.
Just keep looking at that Van-Vee over there and thinking
that this living Van-Vee,
Yes. As is famously known, warships can be maintained by a single mechanic, very famously. It just takes one person to refit a ship. Yes.
I've seen Star Trek. There's only ever one famous engineer.
Maybe we'll pick up.
Yes, and there's a room full of other engineers there. Also, in Star Trek, they could just make matter appear out of the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but that's what the spider bots
to
is
spin
for.
some wheels on the wall. It's gonna be fun.
Or the Roger Rogers.
Spider bots?
Yeah, spider bots, Roger Rogers, whatever Minerva calls her.
The Waldos?
Yeah, there you go. It's been a month.
The spider bots. I thought this motherfucker was going Star Wars on me and was expecting droidekas to show up.
Actually, when I said spider bots, the first thing I thought of was Armored Core 2.
Oh, Armored Core, a man of culture, I see.
Nice.
Yeah, when you get the blade weapon that shoots out a laser pulse so you can conserve ammo.
Yeah, ha-ha! Yeah. That's actually an Armored Core 1 as well. You have to do the Human Plus in order to get it. It's sick as fuck, though. It's so good. And I believe if you transfer your save from 1 to 2, you can also transfer it to 3 and keep your bladed pulse weapon.
That's insane. I didn't know that. I only
It's been
played
like
2.
20 years, though, so that may not be accurate.
Quoting.
I might have to go back and find it.
It's quoted.
Perfect. Yeah, you should definitely get me locked down in there. I've tried to make wikis several times, but I feel like if I was to make a wiki and the front page was things Arthur Perkins has said that are wrong, I could easily get the community to maintain that motherfucker.
That's fair.
That would be how I farm out the work to get it built out. Would be, You know how it is? It's like when you put in a pool table at work and then you're like, there's an ice cream machine as well. If I could just get the community to go to correct me, I could get them to stay and maybe put a couple of other things in. But I decided not to be that ruthlessly corporate.
Feels like
you'll need to do that on Sundays.
I was going to say, speaking of which, Kain is on a new show with me on Sunday night that is completely corporate. Warhammer 40K corporate. It's a grim, dark office comedy. If you're a Patreon member, you can catch the campaign creation episode, and if you're not a Patreon member, you can catch the character creation episode now live for video on demand on YouTube. Or, I've always not said this. I know you exist out there. I'm looking you in the eyes right now. Twitch viewer who has 60 days to view those VODs. I don't normally think about you guys, but I know you're out there. I know you exist. And, you don't show up on any of my analytics, so it's really easy to forget about you. But I know you're there. And thanks for giving me, 12 cents an ad every month. Hey, we need a crew goal here.
Ooh.
Well, acquiring the ship and the spike drive are like the two sort of short-term things that we're definitely going to do, but feel too short-term for a crew goal to me.
No, the last crew goal was acquire the ship. I'm fully willing to say you can keep that on there if you want. If it was good enough for past me, it must be good enough for current.
Is it acquire ship, but also keep Golden Goose?
It says acquire the ship is the goal.
You
can edit that if you want to.
I'm listed as
Make it a little more
determination.
Tough.
Listen, if you want to give yourself optional weighted training belt, that's up to you, man. I'm not going to make you wear that belt. This is a perfectly legitimate goal to me.
Let's roll with it then. Okay. Unless y'all have other ideas.
Maybe just one ankle weight.
All right.
That'll throw you off.
Yeah.
Sorry, just one on one of the legs?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that will definitely throw you off.
Too funny.
We start with a exterior shot of the Golden Goose. It is behind it, backlit by the red painted red, the Draconic class cruiser. They're close enough that they are flying together, and we can see in the bottom left-hand corner it says May 11th. This is 0113 ship's time. Transfer orbit, Surinir Pretty. The two ships flying together. We do that thing that they do in The Expanse, where the camera goes to another location, but they make it obvious that the location exists in a straight line from where you're looking at. Like they'll be like, Earth that way. It zooms to the shipyards, the John W. Raymond shipyards, aka Diamond City. We can see that there are a number of shuttles that are all being kicked away by like automatic thrusters and then immediately going hard burn directly towards the camera, indicating they're headed directly towards, us. And it goes into one of the shuttles where we can see that 6 men in power armor are kneeling on the ground, and someone steps out of the cockpit and takes a knee with them and says, "All right, boys, take a knee here. This is how it's going down. I know we were all supposed to be on leave right now, but turns out one of our boys got into a bit of a tussle. There's an AI down there. They say hauled, Grebe, could be bad. We don't want this kind of thing spilling out our way. Supposedly everybody's dead over there. It's a big planet, millions of people. That's a lot of electronic devices. We're going to start by cleaning up orbit. We're going ship by ship, wipe every single place. Now, I just want to say, the Red had good data sanity, but, one of our boys just out of the academy, top of his class, just graduated, almost plugged into an AI system with his suit. So, if one of the best can do it, it can happen to any of us. So keep your eyes on, don't trust your electronics, and do it by the book, okay? I don't need any cowboys. Let's keep it precise. You got me? And then he taps one on the head, and he taps the guy next to him, and they all tap each other on the head, and then they stand up and sit down and start jawing with each other as the guy goes back into the cockpit. As the camera pulls back, we can see through the cockpit windows of each of the shuttles that the same thing is happening on all of those shuttles, as a bunch of corporate Marines Prepare to undergo the process of data sanitizing an entire planet. Back on the ship, Quentin, Zoe is just like, yeah, so this might actually be kidnapping. I have a job, Quince, and I'm supposed to be on that cruiser so that they can drop me off somewhere.
Drop you off anywhere you need to, obviously. So come on.
This one spell ungrateful.
It's Van-Vee in the room. Just
she turns towards you, Van-Vee, and says, sorry, I don't think we've met. I saved your literal life.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. I have a job that I get paid for a cause I believe in, unlocking genetic drift in humanity during the Scream.
I'm going to exit stage left here, and I'm leaving.
Yeah, I got this one, Van-Vee.
She
I appreciate
turns
it.
and wheels towards you, Quentin, and is like, oh, you've got this one? Yeah. Like you had lead in Thanksgiving?
Oh.
Back in 82? Yeah, I don't think so.
No, do I have anything ever? Yes, that's fair. That's fair. You know me. Figure of speech.
We lost almost all of our data. We were the center point to the Fitzroy project. 24 worlds reporting back about their genetic drift. We have to go to other systems, get our backups, and we have to keep the process running. There are thousands of people working on this.
You don't have to tell me that this is important. What I need from you is to not confuse what's important from what's urgent. All right? And you need to listen to me a little bit. How long have you been out of communication with the rest of the sector?
I got your message. I know what's going on. They're going after psychics.
Yeah. Everyone that you know on Lita's gone.
I know you. Look, what do you want me to tell you? That I stay up all night and I cry about it? I haven't been back on Lita in years. It's not that I don't appreciate that my family's dead. I have a job to do, though. A cause that I believe in so strongly, I left Lita. Which is not something everybody does.
And I'm out here with you, and I hear you. I know your cause is important. I know it matters.
Yeah, but you're telling me you want to drag me back there. You're going to go blast off into space and do your cowboy shit, and you want me to go there and do your job for you. Tell me I'm wrong.
You know, you're not wrong. I do want you to go back, and it is selfish of me to want that for me to be out here. It is. Yeah, I get it. What you're doing is important. Absolutely. But the thing is that I've been out here making connections and talking to people and doing everything I can to build what we need to rebuild Lita. We started life with a legacy that is gone. It's disappeared, poof, into nothing. Our father, our grandfather, his father, our mothers, so many people in our family have burned themselves out, burned themselves bright to try to get us out of the darkness that we just got shoved right back into. I will not let that be for nothing, and I'm doing what I can.
She looks at you very
sadly. I need you to do what you can.
I think the problem here is that you define yourself as a psionic first. Being psionic is just a thing I can do. I'm a data scientist.
Okay. Good. I believe in your mission, Zoe. I do. Don't confuse that. I was inspired by you. Why do you think I'm out here? Why do you think I couldn't stay? But I left and they're all gone. And we're all that's left.
And what is it you want me to do?
I just want to know that you'll help. Look, you don't have to go back there if you don't want to, but I need someone who knows. I don't know what to do next, ever. I'm making it up as I go along.
And you
Who
think
do I
I
have?
know how to run Lita better than you? No, you're
You at
wrong.
least have
Of course I know how to run Lita better than you.
Oh, well.
The answer should have been yes immediately.
Oh,
I don't think I could do it well, but I could definitely do it better than you.
look, you're very impressive. So very impressive. But I mean, come on now. It's just like the academics were more my speed on the at least spreadsheet side of it.
Okay, so she just blinks at you a few times and just looks around and says, yeah, you've been doing real well for yourself.
No,
She
I
just
haven't.
looks-
Come on.
She looks at like a stain on the floor and then like pushes her boot toward it.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm
What's
a
this
mess,
thing?
so
70,
mess.
80 years old?
this thing, the ship,
Yeah.
yeah, probably something like that. Got her on loan, a loan. Took out the loan. It's paid off though, huh? How about that? Yeah, we're
Less
we
than,
got-
what, 2 years? That's pretty good for
not bad.
Starship.
We're looking at picking up a. We've
You
got
smuggling drugs?
connections in a line. There's a cruiser that's waiting on that space station ahead of us.
There's a cruiser waiting for you.
Yeah. Just got
Are you on drugs?
Am I on drugs? Well,
Where are you getting all this money?
like I said, so I've been out here doing some things, making connections.
Yeah.
Phenomena.
You have connections in Fanana.
Yeah, we made some pretty decent discoveries out here over the last couple of years.
All right. It's actually hard to say that you don't because there is a Fanana cruiser hanging right outside the ship with everyone I know on board.
Yeah, proof is in the pudding. I've spoken to the Prime Minister of Midderpile. I've met Jace Bronwyn.
I don't know who that is.
I love the name dropping right now.
Master.
Yeah, right.
Oh, snap.
You don't even know where he's from?
Astopol?
Okay.
Know where he's from. I'm just surprised that you don't. You've
I
been out
know
here
that-
doing things longer than I have. You should know these few of these things. Look. So I'm making moves. I'm doing the best I can out here. But like I said, I'm meeting people. I'm making connections. I'm out here with my friends trying to do what I think that is best right now. But there is no one back there that I can trust other than, well, actually, no, there is someone who just went back, but she's not on my best side, or I'm not on her best side right now. It's complicated. I've been making plenty of friends, but I keep putting my foot in my mouth. You know me. I can't get it right for that long.
I'm going to ask you to make a diplomacy check here. It's a good thing you sent your diplomat out of the room.
I mean, do I get to assist with my ungrateful comment?
No.
No, that would definitely not help. So what is the
Does he get the
the
help by being
skill?
socially aware enough that he left the
Right.
room?
That's progress, character growth.
could this be
I-
leadership? Because this is something getting her to do something that she doesn't want to do.
Ooh, is it? She's your older sibling, right? I don't leadership on
If she
an
was
older
younger, yes,
sis-
but older.
Yeah. I'll allow it at a -1, or I'll take talk. Either one with charisma.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would have to be lead at that point for me because
Okay.
one's the only one in comparison that I'm any
In
good
the
at.
words of Star Fox, good. Okay, that's a 12. That's pretty. All right. She takes out her data pad and begins dictating a leave of absence letter to Lady Context so that it's understood where she'll be for the next few years and that she apologizes at this critical juncture, but that her people need her and that she's sure someone as understanding as her will understand.
Right. I want to make it clear that I'm not abandoning you to this, and this is not as permanent as you need it to be. All right. And two, the station above Lita, at least the remains of it, is being worked on. I'm planning on rebuilding it. a lab there for your team, for your crew.
Hideout full of gangsters and exiles.
We're rebuilding it. It's going to be an official station. It's going to be real. That's the goal. Look, Lita, we can't let what happened to Lita happen again. The point is that we need permanent defenses above Lita. Look, I get it. The people of Lita don't want to embrace technology. That's not a goalpost I'm trying to move for them. That's something that they'll do on their own if and ever when they feel like it. But no, the point is that they need to understand that threats are out there, and we need to be able to protect everybody.
They need fusion generators, nuclear snuffers, gravitic breakers.
Exactly.
A planetary defense frigate in orbit.
Yeah. That's what this...
You have 100 million credits lying around?
Do I have 100 million credits? No, but I do know where I can go to get the resources I need to start making all of these things happen, or at least I have a place to start. I don't have all the answers, but I'm moving in directions.
Okay.
All right.
I'm telling you right now that if you didn't roll a 12, she would not have believed you on what you just said. But she does believe you. Barely.
Fair. So, I mean, yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is that if we get this cruiser, if things work out, the Goose is yours. All right. Take her back to Lita. Use her to go on and off planet as you need to. We'll figure it out. Like if we've got ships available to us, we're going to get something available.
I don't know how to fly this ship.
We'll get you a crew.
I'm a data analyst.
I know. Analyze the data back on Lita.
Okay.
We'll get you the resources you need.
All right. She says, all right, I'm going to go get a hug from my favorite family member. And then she turns and walks out the room. And then you hear the door close. And from through the door, you hear really muffled.
Oh, he knows.
Oh, you're a good boy.
He knows.
You're a good boy. I got an orange for you, buddy.
Yeah. Quentin probably...
That's something my sister would do to me, by the way. She would do that to Amore for sure.
That's fair. I mean, look, the pets do get preferential treatment. That's part of life.
Minerva, one of the rooms, Zoe is attempting to enter into the computer that it's hers now. Like she's putting a privacy lock on it and a password. Basically just moving in. But by the way, she doesn't like have stuff, to be clear. Like she has what she was wearing with her in the shuttle bay when you brought her up here. So like she doesn't have her wallet or her keys, spare clothing, identification.
So she's picking a terminal somewhere and trying to lock it out for herself?
Yeah, one of the 6 rooms, because there's an empty room. She's basically...
So she's setting a code on the door, not the
Yeah, she's claiming a room.
Oh, okay.
I think it'd be so funny if Minerva's like, pick a stronger password. Pick a stronger password.
Please include upper and lowercase letters, symbols, and... No,
TV, camera, man, horse. 1. Exclamation point.
I'll send 3 text reminders to the captain. One will be a reminder of Minerva's desire for a spike drive. The second is a reminder about finishing the deal on the determination.
Yep.
And the third is a reminder that there are a number of ships that are very well lined up, floating in space, waiting to be declared salvage.
Oh, yes. So Quentin would immediately act on the salvage aspect to do whatever, filing of paperwork is required, or signing of things, stamping, etc. And would look around, make sure there's privacy, so he can chat with Minerva real quick. And just, Minerva, you there? Quick question. I think we can chat out loud. I want to loop Zoe in. on who you are.
Well, since
Seeing how you parked a bunch of vehicles in a perfectly straight line, I think the gig's up.
well, I do believe that. Well, maybe the Phenomena Cruiser can make some sort of claim about that behavior. That was a mistake on my part. It was very explicit that all of our agreements with Metapile were broken off. So and we have not. We essentially told them we were going to consider whether or not we wanted to re-engage in those agreements. So I suppose it is up to me whether or not I wish Zoe to know about me. Are you asking me if it's okay?
I am, and with a little bit of intention, which is that if something happens to me and not her, so to speak, you might be willing to transfer whatever loyalty you might feel towards me to her.
Wow.
I have a very
Ludemann's setting up this next character, huh?
You, Van-Vee, and I have a very specific agreement that I plan to honor to the letter. From making promises point of view, that's transferring, that's not something. But I am sympathetic to the struggles of your people. I want to help and support them. If something does happen to you, I won't immediately lose all of my interest in trying to help save your people, if that's what you're worried about.
No.
I do still want to help them.
That's good enough for me. No, definitely take it. I appreciate it. And if you don't mind, I do think looping her in is at least the simplest path in the near term.
Let me think about it.
I'll be here.
In the
Whenever
meantime-
thinking about something takes like a split second.
Let me give me some time to consider. In the meantime, I know we're both interested in you securing the determination. And you know that I'm trying to push for time on that spike drive.
Yeah, that's next step. Definitely. Let's got to get our ducks in a row, make a couple requests, see what we can do. Main goal out of this is, well, we've been quite helpful so far with this situation. Maybe we can parlay it into a few extra points on our purchase here and get a few extra options added to our package. Maybe a bonus spike drive or.
I mean, what size ships were the ones that were floating around in orbit? What whole classification were they? The ones that
Is there like
Are you
a
talking
cruiser
about
around?
the 5 shuttles that you have right now?
they're shuttles? Okay.
You have control of 5 shuttles. Those are not the only things in orbit of Regrebe, but they are the ones that you took control of during battle.
Is there a cruiser level salvage available?
No, it's a low tech
Would have been
level
too much to
planet.
ask.
No, it's shuttles and like free merchants.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we had the surviving shuttles in orbit,
Yep.
and we also have the
that was
stealth
the
shuttle.
six shuttles that were programmed to go after the Draconic.
Right.
Right, and one of them was destroyed.
The one that had the programming still in it, yes, the VI.
Right.
Kept going.
And we also have the shuttle that I stole from the surface, the stealth shuttle.
Yeah.
from
Stealth
the hangar.
Stealth shuttle.
That is a TL3 stealth shuttle.
Right.
Yeah. Nothing special. We know.
Okay,
It's
stealth
just
tech
very-
will
That's
not
what we're
defeat
calling it.
any modern
It's special to
sensor
us.
It's painted black and it looks cool, so we kind of like it.
It has today's current stealth technology, our modern 21st century stealth technology.
It's
Understood.
Darth Vader's personal transport ship.
It's not a Lambda class shuttle. That's way too. Lambda class shuttles carry like 50 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They're really
Vader's only
cool.
carries 4.
And just to be clear, based on the way this game works, the Landma class shuttle would be a fleet cruiser. It has enormous guns, a rear turret. It can carry 50 troopers. Like,
that's true.
It's a very, very small cruiser. It's like the in between a destroyer and a cruiser, but it's, despite the fact in the Star Wars universe, it's one of the least heavily armed ships in the Imperial Armada. It's pretty heavily armed for stars without numbers.
Yeah.
Whatever your orders are, Captain.
Well, let's see. So we're heading towards the station, right?
Currently, you are in orbit with the Draconic class cruiser Red.
Okay. Yeah, I guess Quentin would send a message over to the Red, ask if there is, if they have any need for us to stay on station, or, if we can, if they're cool with us heading back towards the shipyard. Maybe they're tracking threats we're not. I don't know.
You get a message from the captain's executive officer indicating that the captain is busy right now as part of the sanitization project, that he has written a report that indicates that truthfully 6 shuttles were taken control of by an artificial intelligence during this action, and that is all he is going to say about that. And that you are free to leave, but they do not recommend approaching the planet Regrebe in any way, shape, or form, or returning to the moon Surinir Pretty anytime soon until the corporation has declared them sanitized.
Ask him for a suggestion on how to complete our deal.
Say what?
Ask him for a suggestion how to complete our deal for determination if we can't approach.
Oh, well, Quentin would ask Van-Vee to...
No, they're saying don't go to the planet that the AI fucked up.
I thought he was basically saying
Regrebe, the planet that this moon is over. Not don't go back to the shipyards over.
Okay. Never mind.
No.
Yeah, over.
Basically.
Yeah.
Feel free to mosey, but don't come back here.
Yeah, don't come back here.
All right. Well,
if you want to go to the shipyard, we'll need to make some effort to secure those shuttles to bring them to the shipyard.
Yeah, let's definitely work towards that. If we can, is the tractor beam enough to handle all 5? Do we have to?
You can fly them yourself. You're already flying them right now.
That's true. Minerva already has.
They make them look like they're drunk pilots instead, Minerva.
I mean, I can, but I'm trying to make a show.
It's way too late for that. Pretty much anybody with a telescope has noticed that they flew extreme precision. Anyone with a sensor system knows. And they're minutes away from releasing a report that says that they were just recently controlled by an artificial intelligence. Like,
all right, well, let's have some fun with
it. That ship has sailed and is in formation behind you.
I'm just wondering if there's any way that the hostile AI could be blamed for that, and then it blew up, and there's things are being sanitized.
Again, the executive officer has indicated they're not going to lie. They will just not publicly release the part of the report that says you did it.
Okay.
They're not going to lie.
Deniability. We can still say Fairy somewhere in his system.
Hey, listen, whatever you guys say, that's your own business. Although
I
would point out if the corporation corrects you,
really bad.
That would be quite bad for you.
I mean,
we just don't know.
The plan in terms of next step is to get a meeting with the reach back out to Director Genosek over here and schedule a meeting to discuss the purchase of the determination with the incident and, something of that nature.
I mean, if we fly to each of them to the shuttles, then maybe you could get away with saying that you had I don't know. We had to put somebody on the shuttle in order to be able to get it close enough for us to secure it. And then, we just make Van-Vee do, get on and off of things.
Here I am, shuttle number 1.
Because otherwise, like going from there is one in system to it's following the Golden Goose, like
I mean, yes, certainly Pied Piper aspect. There is a degree of clearly there's the leader. I mean, yeah, we can play with the tractor beam to try to make it look, make it use that to explicitly be the thing that's pulling them along with us. We can.
I mean, I can
use the tractor beam to get them close and straight up tether them to the goose. I don't know how. If that's
like we literally chain them together.
You can carry one of them in the tractor beam.
Okay. So
does each shuttle then have a tractor beam to tractor beam the one behind it?
No. And even if it did, the tractor beam could only work on a ship one size smaller than you, I believe.
Figured I would ask.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the goals on the tractor beam are for sure.
Let's see. Yeah, we don't have as
just
many
be clear,
people.
the shuttles don't have tractor beams on. So it doesn't
Well,
matter.
can we maybe
we don't have as many people as shuttles.
Captain, maybe we ask this Director Genosec if he could loan us a few pilots just to help us bring them back to the shipyard. I mean,
let me just be really clear here. Director Janosik runs the entire shipyard.
I don't think he's gonna.
He's not your point of contact for sales.
well,
no, of course.
That would be like going to a U.S. military Navy base and being like, "Can I speak to the local admiral? I'm buying a yacht."
Okay.
We'll go to the sales guy.
I was just thinking
the point is that to meet with Director Genosik is that he's the only person who actually has the security clearance to talk about the things that we would need to talk about. So that's why we would talk to him and not a salesperson for sure.
I will say this. A person has been placed on board your ship who has all the necessary clearances for exactly these situations.
Okay. Yeah, let's
Iono is your point of contact with the company, and she is cleared to know all of these things.
She's sitting in the corner just stamping her feet right now.
Yeah. Let's pull her in
she's
and
busy
let her
writing
start
reports about everything that just happened.
Quentin's definitely going to go take a visit, and Minerva and Van-Vee.
Yeah, I feel like you guys forget that Iono isn't technically like a full member of your crew.
I think it's mostly that she feels like an academic, and so she feels like not like someone our business contact. But you're right, she is technically so it's completely fair.
They asked her on board because you guys feel comfortable with her.
Felt like our intern, but obviously she was qualified at that. So
you've paid her $800,000.
I know. I'm saying she started off on our ship as just someone who was taking care of a piece of technology.
Okay, I just want to be clear.
To leave.
She's a good chunk of the way into paying off her student loans for her doctoral degree in a rare science that has only several weeks ago become extremely relevant.
That's fair. Yeah,
best decision
I've got to talk to her.
You go to talk to her. She is in the middle of vocalizing a report about what happened from her perspective. I believe she was on the ship the entire time, so it's mostly secondhand reporting of what she heard. However, as you enter her room, you can see she has so we know that she has a habit of holographically projecting like chalkboards on walls and then writing on them. Again, holographically, like it's not permanent, but you can see that she has something up there that's called Circle of 8, and she's written down the various members and has question marks beside most of them because she doesn't know where they are. The only one that's marked off is, of course, the man she literally watched get shot in the leg and die. I just want to remind you that no one told her anything else about the Circle of 8 besides their names. So she has no idea that any of them are alive, dead, captured, or anything. So it seems like she's working on this problem as part of independent research. She turns and gives you a 1 second while she finishes up her sentence in the report, speaking about the unfortunate consequences of a certain lieutenant's following the facility director's orders to plug his suit in, which was very briefly stopped by an apparent, I believe it was a gunshot or something. Like things got real very quickly.
Well, what happened is that I shouted out, "Hey, guy's name."
Right. And
I
then
don't
Van-Vee
think-
died.
It was like,
Yeah.
wait, you don't take orders from that guy. Stop doing it because he told you to do it. You listen to me here.
You told him not to do it, and at that point, things got real very quickly when the AI realized that it could not take over the Space Marine suit immediately.
It did in a different world. So. Yeah.
There's a predictive model that only Minerva knows that involves things going much worse.
A man losing his arms.
A man being shaken and stirred.
She kicks a chair over to you and sits down and says, "What can I do for you, Captain?"
Well, this one was an interesting one, sticky one, strange one, right here in Phenomena's backyard.
It happens sometimes. We normally keep it pretty quiet, I understand. Not that I have a lot to do with the sweep branch, but it happens.
Yeah.
Come across an old piece of tech, and I expect that it'll happen to us at some point. I mean, it technically already has, or maybe it didn't. I'm not really sure what's going on with MINERVA.
Yeah, I think that there are definitely some unanswered questions, but it feels like there might be answers in the future someday. I feel you there. Well, it was definitely good she was along, that's for sure. We're heading back to the shipyard here, I think. We're going to be looking at purchasing brand new ship, upgrade.
Okay. I'll make sure I'm ready to transfer over.
Excellent. Well, on that front, the thing is that we're kind of hoping that you could use this opportunity to open up some dialogue there and see if we could get a few extra perks or points, discounts, etc., bonuses as a result of services rendered in regard to MINERVA, more or less being the deus ex machina, literally, that we needed in this particular situation to not be sort of goo.
Sure. I'm going to be frank with you, Captain, because I'm not involved in marketing or sales.
That's why I didn't normally come to you for these things.
Section Leader Satoshi is already extending a pretty hefty discount to you already.
Fair enough.
With that said, my understanding based on, and she gestures, I assume that there's a monitor somewhere that one, you may know, I go on cruises from time to time. There's a channel you can turn it on to see what the local weather report is like, and then what the views outside of the ship are. So I assume that she can turn the monitor on and be like, I can see that there are numerous shuttles falling behind us. And she gestures to that and says, it seems pretty clear that you have some salvage on your hand.
True, very true. Really,
Shipyard
what I'm looking
has
for.
a salvage yard.
Okay.
You could sell
That's
the
good.
shuttles to them directly.
Oh, definitely planning to do that.
Okay.
I'm not, how do I put it? I don't know what I can get, so I'm going to just ask for things and you can tell me it's impossible. That's how I work here. So in this situation, the major piece that we're actually looking to do, discount on the ship, fine. We can't do it, no big deal. Unlock a resource for me. What I need is an extra spike drive.
What would you need an extra spike drive for?
Well, there's a number of options, of course, that we have in front of us, but, installing it in salvage is certainly option number one.
What salvage are we talking about specifically?
What salvage are we talking about specifically? Well, hopefully something cruiser sized, I think. The other aspect is, we've got one
You're
cruiser.
talking about MINERVA's ship.
Well, she's the target that we've got right now, and she's looking to become whole.
I don't think I have to tell you that cruiser-sized drives are quite rare, and those that are not
No, I'm told
sold,
they produce 20 here this year. So I feel you. They're incredibly rare. Incredibly rare. This is a lot.
Inserted into ships already. When they're produced, they're not set aside. They are placed inside ships to begin. As I mentioned, there is that salvage yard. You don't have unlimited funds, but you do have certainly enough funds to take out a loan of some kind. You could certainly find a local captain of a beaten down cruiser and salvage his drive out of the ship.
Not a bad thought.
That's all I have for you, because if you truly want a cruiser drive, you would, well, I assume you already know where you have to go to get.
Well,
even if the reception is not the best.
I'm still open to that possibility. You know, it's a matter of making sure those obligations don't come with too many teeth. And you got to check elsewhere, check your options. So never know if you don't ask. I appreciate the idea, though. That was a very good one. If nothing else. So, yeah.
There are a lot of ships in the air. And a lot of ships get retired all the time. If you pick one up before it gets salvaged, you can get the drive out of it. And it's certainly somewhat less public. Buying a ship is a lot less flagging than buying a drive without a ship, which is quite noteworthy. But again, I'm not in sales marketing. I'm also not in salvaging either.
You're one of the smarter people I know, and that's one of the things I like about you, Yono. And you certainly are honest, which I appreciate, or at least as far as I know.
Make a perception check. Perception wisdom.
Notice, right? Notice,
yes.
Yeah. Could I?
What just happened?
Okay.
You can't re-roll it just because.
No, I was trying to hit it because I thought you had to select the stat.
Look at that sick double ones right there. All right,
that's bad.
Look, you say you seem very honest, and as you turn away, the camera sees her looking very both sad and pained at her expression as she looks at the back of your head, and then you turn back and
didn't you say we followed you in tow? I thought you said that.
I did bring Van-Vee along, or at least I offered it.
And I don't know if I was on mute or not when I said it, but I'm purposely avoiding talking because Yono was pissed when I shot someone. I didn't shoot someone and I died. So he's like, I don't know what to do about this situation.
Sounds like you're having a complicated inner dialogue with the pacifist side of you.
Yeah. Van-Vee and Vandorn are going at it.
Don't forget, one of the things you're going to ask about was a deal to get pilots for those shuttles to bring them to the salvage yard.
All right. Yeah. I can bring that up with her, or at least Minerva. You're happily in the room. I suppose of that.
I don't think Minerva would be viewing the room right now. Minerva didn't ask to come in.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Minerva's trying to respect that room privacy
for sure.
That's fair.
I guess what I was getting at, does Van-Vee get to make the notice check or no? Because he's half in the room, half out.
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't know you were there, but
I'm only saying because.
Go ahead, Dunamis.
All right. I will. Oh, that sucks too.
I think you know that there's something there. You don't know what it is, but something comes over her face.
Van-Vee thinks it's like feelings. He's like, oh.
He's like, oh, I'm sad you died.
Yeah, so
she barely even knows that you died. Has anyone told her that you died?
Oh, that's fair. We'll get to some of that, I'm sure.
Listen, from Van-Vee's point of view, he thinks everyone knows he died because he thinks he's very important. So he thinks everyone would just know.
The main character on internet broadcast actual play.
he just assumes if he dies, everyone on the ship knows, and he's avoiding Yono because
he has 20 or 30 fans. It's like a whole bar's worth of people are interested in him.
In fact, he probably doesn't want to talk to her so that she doesn't feel guilty for him not pulling the trigger.
Okay, you're making this really complicated. And it's not. I appreciate the complex inner dialogue, though.
So, Yono, real quick, there's one other thing that I if you're able to make happen, that'd be fantastic. If you can't, then it is what it is. we're trying to at least keep a little bit of a low profile on what Minerva did here. It's obviously cat's out of the bag a little bit. Well, we got some plausible deniability, and I think it might even be in Ferry's best interest. You know, Ferry likes to make sure that folks don't know exactly where Ferry is out here in the sector at any given time. If there's some rumor that they might be here and they're not, that's, I think, meeting the requirements. Would you be willing to maybe get some pilots over to those shuttles that we salvaged to get them flown back?
Yeah, I'll call the salvage yard and have them send tugs out.
Oh,
I
you're
don't
so
know
smart.
if you've considered this, but there's probably dead bodies inside those.
Yeah,
shuttles.
no, that's...
They're going to open that thing up and it's going to smell.
That's not a can of worms.
Dangerous.
Yeah, we want to stick anybody into.
They've probably
right away.
been dead for several days to several weeks.
Yeah.
She's so smart.
We really ought to be seeking you out a little more often, Yono. It's been
live
on my
on
list
this
for a
ship.
while. I would
talk
like to spend
all
some
the
more time. Huh?
We talk all the time.
Consultations, I guess, is what I mean. Of course we do.
Is there anything you're keeping from me that I should know about?
Is there anything you're keeping
The
from
two
me?
of
that I should
you-
know about?
The two of you both leaned back and made a face when I said that. I just want to be really clear here. I'm not even
Did
rolling
he
dice.
die
I
down there. Did
I
you
watched
hear-
both player characters go.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I just read Soundwave's comment, so I was like,
Quentin does respond by pointing at Van-Vee and says, "Well, Van-Vee died down there."
Van-Vee died down there?
I gotta go. He just leaves.
I have to amend my report.
Oh. Always leaving me hanging. I do. Just to reiterate, I do appreciate you. And in terms of, some future
Paid me
projects,
$800,000. I know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you appreciate me. You don't have to feel like I'm not aware. I know.
how do I put
You
it,
were the
I just
only
like-
one who wanted to come to my graduation party.
I'm glad Van-Vee left and didn't hear that.
I know, and I appreciate it.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page because, like I was saying, I would like to start working a little bit more on an actual project related to the research, near and dear to your heart.
With your brain and how it interacts with unusual fluctuations in spike space.
Entities therein, yeah.
Okay.
So, keep it in mind. Let's think through what we
We
gotta do
had
to actually learn something about these things.
a bit
on
more
top of it.
funding. We might fashion another communications buoy.
Do you think Phenomena might be interested in?
No.
All right. Well, who can we target? Anyone on a hit list?
I'll see if I can figure out who your rich friends are.
All right. That's fair enough. Fair enough.
How's
Is there anybody-
Van-Vee's relationship with his mother?
I was thinking that.
The only rich person she knows.
I think that one might be slightly complicated.
Well,
Unfortunately.
Could characterize it as explosive decompression.
Quentin would not. I'd love to introduce you to my sister if you have some time.
Okay.
She's worth meeting. Tell you
Okay.
that much.
it's a small ship and we have a full day just to get to Diamond City. I'm sure we'll bump into each other. But all right, she looks around and just starts shutting down her electronics and says, "Let's go."
Awesome. I'm from a small place. There's not that many people where I grew up. These niceties are just kind of part of the deal. That's why I, try to make sure you're understanding. I think positively of you and, introductions, all these things, shaking hands. It's just who I am, where I'm from. It's part of life.
So Van-Vee left
Yeah.
first, right?
Yes.
I feel like as soon as Van-Vee is alone, Minerva asks, could we talk somewhere private, Van-Vee?
I feel like Van-Vee probably would have gone to the bridge because he knows no one else would be there. So, well, Share MINERVA, I'm just getting back at the controls. You might have to help me out a little bit in the first couple rounds of piloting. I'm still kind of hurting here. My usual dexterity controls ain't what it is when I'm a bit hindered. But what can I do for you?
I understand that this is probably a strange question. Would you be willing to describe your experience?
You mean death?
Yes.
Well, it hurt a lot. And then, the lights just kind of went out. I mean, heck, it's not like I had a slow, painful one. From what I understand, I was kind of shot in the head. So quick, lot of pain, immediately out, lights gone, no one's home. Then next thing I know, I'm looking up at someone I just met, Zoe. Still a lot of pain, but at least I'm here.
It sounds like if nobody told you, you might not have necessarily known you died.
Just to be clear, you definitely remember being inside the dust. When you died, you uploaded into the dust, and you fully remember that weird experience of not being able to do anything.
I guess what angle are you coming from and everything? You mean like a bodily experience, or do you mean my total experience?
Well, you've been physically injured a number of times, but
yeah,
you haven't died before. I guess I'm curious about the uniqueness of that part of the experience.
Well, I think I'm a little bit unique in myself, that I'm not exactly an average person. I was really scared for a moment because I watched my body, on the ground bleeding, but I still existed floating above it in the dust. And for a moment, I was worried I had no way to communicate with you guys that I'm still here. I'm in the dust. I'm in the room, present, but I can't interact with anything. Luckily,
the more time we spend together, I decided earlier on when you'd made a comment that we were more alike than I thought, that you had no basis to that at all. But it seems that as you continue to have experiences, we are more similar than I thought.
Have you experienced something similar?
This is a very special episode, I guess.
I've experienced a number of times where my consciousness was present, but there was nothing else. Nothing to see, nothing to feel, no way to interact.
Scary, isn't it?
It is.
Watching the world go on around you with people there's nothing you can do about it.
I don't think it bothers me as much as it does you, but it's a part of my existence. It's a normal part of my existence. It's disorienting and confusing, and the circumstances can make it scary.
How can that be normal?
When I surrendered the ship, when I was removed, when I'm just the core, that is my existence. You being trapped in the dust is probably the closest anyone will experience to how I exist.
So when you're in the core, you're aware of what's going on around you?
No.
You're aware of time passing?
I'm aware of time passing.
That sounds almost worse. You have no idea what's going on around you. You're just waiting?
Blind, deaf, everything. Yeah.
I'm not sure which one's worse. I mean, I knew what was going around me. I saw my body collapse, but I was nervous. You guys were, going to pick up the body and leave me as the dust behind. Honestly, I don't know what that would have done. So honestly, it makes me wonder: is there any way to? I don't know. I know what you're going to say is, if only we built that stupid damn link system in, you could have detected the dust or something like that. But that ship sailed. I'm a little worried now. If I lose the body again, I have no way of interacting with you guys. And I think I do understand a little bit what it's like in your core, what you sacrifice to help protect Quentin and I. I guess if anything I can do for you in that type of situation any form of communication, let you know it's okay. We're working on it. You're gonna not be stuck in that core mode forever. I feel like we have different senses of time, but still, that can't be fun.
I mean, I track time probably more precisely than you do. But
well, I guess you're more patient, I'll say.
I believe that I experienced almost 100 years of isolation. I've had time to adjust to it.
I think I would have gone insane. Just saying. I can't do that.
I think there are things that I did that were crucial to my not going insane. And some of those things, I wonder if they were just me allowing myself to manifest that loss of sanity in a controlled way.
Well, whatever you did, it obviously worked, because you're still here today, and you're still, well, what I consider sane, especially after meeting that last AI. Cuckoo bananas over there.
There are things that I would like to explain to you in time that might explain a little bit more of my certainty, but if you're trapped in your dust, I know that you said that you wanted to be aware of how you might be able to help me if I get trapped in just my core, but I want to be able to help you if you get trapped in your dust. I at least know that while my consciousness is still there, there's a chance that, I will be discovered, connected to things that allow me to interface. You don't have that same certainty, or at least possibility.
At least not under Reeb, I don't think I would. I mean, heck, the only thing probably in this entire system pulls out his back pocket is this thing, the kindergarten toy. I don't know, maybe there's a way to try to reverse engineer. I don't know. I don't even know if that makes sense, but
we could I understand that you have a limited ability to contact it and send signals back and forth. Maybe there is something to us reverse engineering it and maybe finding a way to allow you to interact with. Maybe we can make our own transceiver. We'd have to destroy that at the very least, and I don't know if it would work. But it could give you a chance at life if you lose this body. One that doesn't involve slavery.
I'm also a little conscious that this sounds a little bit like not too different than what the Circle of Eight's goals were, would frankly just keep using bodies and moving on. And
no.
I want to make it perfectly clear that I will not participate in anything that involves the enslavement of other bodies.
Well, that is not something I want a part of either. That's honestly, that's why I'm glad you introduced in some way to us to Ferry, because I think I'm a one of a kind, frankly, with Vandorn and Van-Vee together here. I don't think there's anything else like us. Me. Us.
It's possible.
Me.
But to make it clear, if you want to, I'm interested in trying to see if there's a way that we could move you or allow you to interface with your dust to not just be trapped.
Just to be clear, he doesn't interface with the dust. He is the dust. I just want to be really clear about that.
Yeah. I mean, Minerva's trying to talk about finding a way to
He's
allow him
zero
from the dust.
raying into his own natural brain.
trying to see if there's a way that we can allow him from the dust, should his body die, be able to interface with something to not just be trapped.
Just
Yes.
like turn on an LED to say, still here.
The old
Somewhere.
ashes to ashes, dust to dust problem. I see.
Well, I mean,
Come
I
on,
think the only...
listen, no one laughed. I've been waiting the entire length of the show to make a dust to dust joke.
I immediately started singing the next verse in my head. So that's why I was just like straight faced.
If it's something you want to explore, I'm in the position to understand how things could go poorly for you.
I will say, I mean, this thing at this point, it's more like it's just kind of a reminder at this point. I mean, would I want to lose it? No, but it's not really giving me any benefit. So if it's a risk to take to try to take it apart, see what we can learn, why not? I mean, we've already come across, 2 or 3 different scenarios where it would have been helpful. I'd say keeping me alive is a pretty big one.
Okay.
Great. We're going to go on break now. We'll be back for the second half shortly. Stick around. Welcome back to the second half. If you want to have the conversation, that's fine, but perhaps we just have a montage of your sister and your analyst of
Search engine guru.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say have in
again,
terms
she
of
has
like
a doctorate in
the conversation.
histological.
That was the first thing
Exactly,
that she
very
got
smart.
involved in that made us look real dumb, was that we were too stupid to do basic searches.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the only thing that Quentin wants to actually
She's your
say
Zoomer
specifically,
intern, yes,
yeah,
with a
she knows the pop
doctoral
culture.
degree in science, in a rare science field that is suddenly getting a lot more applicants.
What is this macro you speak of in Excel?
Oh my god! All right, so she starts typing the words pivot table, and everybody suddenly turns and goes, "Oh, interesting."
Yeah, just by way of introduction, Quentin does come up and say, "Zoe, I'd like you to meet Iono. She's someone who is almost as skilled as you, as pointing out the many ways in which I get things wrong, and giving me better direction." So,
all right, your sister crosses her arms
I think
and
y'all would get along.
leans back slightly, sort of apprehensively, and Iono is dressed very oddly. She's wearing Crocs and her I Heart the Princess booty shorts and a tank top, but is wearing her doctoral coat over that. The two of them start having a conversation.
Perfect.
Screams work hard, play hard.
Is there anything you want to do before you arrive back at the shipyards?
Nothing specifically other, unless we can start looking to see if there's a derelict or nearly derelict cruiser that we can start.
There is
Messages to
one
crew.
nearly derelict cruiser. It is looking for an owner. Otherwise, they're going to salvage it. It is for a roaming museum. The cruiser is almost 100 years old at this point. It's from the third generations of ships from the Rising. And it is currently a museum dedicated to number 500 on the 500 most interesting character in media, Steve Urkel, as played by Jameel White, I believe is his name.
Oh my god!
So
Better make it a list of $4.99.
it is a hundreds of feet long, 5-decked, 10,000-ton museum based on originally a side character from Family Matters.
Well,
Jaleel.
that sounds
Jaleel.
fantastic and perfect in many ways.
Okay.
Quentin's gonna tap Van-Vee on the shoulder and say, "Okay, look at this thing. She's beautiful. We can tear her
It
apart.
looks horrendous.
She's
It's
beautiful.
barely space worthy.
She's
The walls
gorgeous.
have been worn through an entire century of being hit by micrometeors
Beauty
and
is on
slamming
the
into
inside.
space stations.
It's not about what it looks like. It's about the journey.
The inside
Yeah, it's
needs
been
a
on.
deep cleaning.
I feel like, well, as Quentin's describing, oh, isn't she beautiful? Van-Vee's just like pulling up the tech specs saying, oh, yeah, that's old. We can work with that. We can work with that. We can update that. Retrofit that. That's got to go. Like just going through all the different parts and components. We can scrap that, salvage that, sell that off. Da, 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 da. He's just like inventorying it.
Okay. Are you going through the ship with the captain?
Yeah, sure. If he's standing
All
right there, I
Oh
just
yeah.
reflexively would have started going through it.
So, yeah, I mean, the captain indicates that the engines on the ship don't work. It's been turned into a museum. I've been trying to get them fixed for some time, but it
You
looks
mean
like,
that captain, not like Quentin captain?
yes, I mean the captain of the vessel. Of the
Yeah, if this
museum.
was the real world, this is like a naval ship in the harbor that's starting to take on water, and they're trying
Like
to
the
get up the
Mishula.
money to like.
No, it's a museum ship, like the
Yeah,
Mishula,
yeah, exactly.
or
Yeah.
what's the
Well, I've been on a
last
couple,
battleship that's left? Not the Texas, the North Carolina.
But on the one,
I think
whatever it
it's
is, in
Central.
Buffalo, New York,
It's
a
been
little
so long since I've been to Battleship
Yeah, but you guys know what I'm
Cove.
talking about, or any of the ships in Pearl
Totally.
Harbor that they've partially dredged. Yeah, so yeah, the captain's just like walking you through, and he's like, I wanted to get the engines fixed. I can't open a spike drive here in orbit over Koos. I brought it into harbor, I don't know, 15 years ago. Haven't been able to haul it out since then. It's done pretty well for itself for its time, but everyone pretty much knows who Steve Urkel is now, and I'm afraid he's about to fall off the list of top 500 characters.
I think Van-Vee's got like his work specs out, and he's like, "Now, when was the last time you would say you
Love it.
used that spike drive there?"
I'd say about 15 years ago when I arrived in system.
15 years. All right. Okay. All right.
According to the diagnostics, it still works.
Have you been running the standard preventative maintenance?
That's a no, sir.
I have documentation that says that this ship is seaworthy.
No.
All right. All right.
Elbows Van-Vee. Like, you're on point on this one, buddy.
Well,
He walks
let's
you
see.
past you're on deck 3, which is dedicated entirely to times Steve Urkel appeared or was mentioned in other forms of media.
I feel like this guy's trying to give
Crossover
Van-Vee a
episodes.
tour of the Steve Urkel experience.
Yes,
And
he
all Van-Vee
absolutely is.
is looking at like, loose wires, plating that needs replaced. Just like basically thinking of it
He
through the
has no
salvaging
zip
stuff.
ties on any cables.
Oh my goodness. Not even that 90-degree turn to make it easier when you're going through the actuator junction.
Some of these rooms look like those nightmare images online of comm closets,
Mhm.
where it's just like the waterfall of networking cables.
Someone has used a drywall knife to cut a hole in the wall just to fit more cabling in.
Oh goodness. And didn't even patch it.
I think that got Kate on that one.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Why get organized when you could just use a knife?
So I put speaker cables in my last house.
Oh my God.
Oh, geez.
Whoever bought that house from you probably just not appreciative.
You can't even tell it was done.
All right. You can't tell that there's a circular hole a speaker cable was run through?
No,
All right.
because it went from the basement up, but I had to shimmy it up the wall. So
Okay.
regardless, I drywalled it back up. I patched it. It looks nice and nice. Painted it over. My sanding was lazy, but I think is there a way for Van-Vee to run his own diagnostic on this thing?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd say if you're buying a Starship used, you absolutely want to give it your own once over rather than take the word of the. This is a real buyer beware situation.
Yeah, the last thing I want is another what's his face that cornered Van-Vee with the the like stealth plating thing. And I was like,
Prism.
yeah, you got me good.
Yes.
Burton
Guster.
That guy.
He works in this system now, if you recall. He got transferred.
That's right.
We got him a job.
Yeah, sure. Got him a job. Right.
Quotes.
Yeah, air quotes for sure. I'll need a fixed intelligence check. Okay. I mean, these engines aren't going anywhere. Based on what I mean, look. If you want me to break down how spaceworthy the ship is, I could do that. He's priced the ship at about 5 million. You're only looking to get the drive out of it, which is worth about 1.2 million. You could probably say the ship's worth more like 3.5 to 4. You're gonna get, you're not gonna get all of that back when you
You're not
salvage
getting the
it,
difference back.
Yeah, because you're gonna, they don't give a shit about all this Steve Urkel stuff, and if you take the drive out, the value of the ship drops immensely. Now it's just a barge.
All right. I think because Van-Vee doesn't know how to whisper to Quentin in front of this guy. He's like gonna
Do
make
you
it
need
look like
an
he's
aside? You look like you want to talk to your captain. I can go.
Talk a little shop. Yeah, give us a minute.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I mean, after he
walks-
ran the diagnostic, what rating is the spike drive?
It's 1. This is an old ass ship. They didn't have good drives back then. He walks down the museum
He
way.
doesn't want it. Just look at his face. He's like, I don't want it.
He walks.
I want
Yeah.
to be able to move the ship.
He walks down the museum way forward and goes to like a Steve Urkel exhibit and begins just like slightly adjusting the clothing and the hat on the mannequin.
Well, the spike drive will work, but this ship ain't worth 5 mil. Shit, if you give him 4 mil, he's making hay. 3 mil, he'd feel ripped off.
Well, you're the negotiator here. I think it's going to be worth the purchase here, whether it's the exact spike drive that goes in the MINERVA, and he's talking to his watch if MINERVA's paying attention or if he can tell where she is.
Quentin goes,
you're
Ben
hot,
10.
I mean, you get a response in your ear. It's just if we were to put in the same rated spike drive that was in the Hosta previously, I don't believe they're even produced here. Not just in system.
So you'd be
We're gonna take
happy
what we
with
get.
the spike drive one?
Given the concerns that I have right now, even if it's a rating 1, it will allow me to secure and fight in the ship.
Got to get her in the air. And here's the thing, whenever we can absolutely consider swapping what's in the determination with this thing, as long as we get 2 working spike drives, that's the base that we've got. I don't know if that's technically feasible, just so we're clear. Van-Vee would have to tell you that.
It's going to take weeks to months in order to sort them out.
Doesn't have to happen in the dangerous, scary place that we would be doing it initially, but we can consider options.
Well, I'm thinking, coming on the lower side of 3, maybe see if he wants to keep all of his Steve Urkel stuff. I don't think we have a need for that.
I like that. Yeah, let's throw a couple $100,000 off the price so he can keep his memorabilia. Maybe reopen his museum here on station in a small term capacity if he feels like it.
And then once we take the drive out, hard to say how much we could scrap the rest for to recoup some of the value, but some of it's useful. Some of it's just old scrap.
We'll take what we can get, and whatever it is going to be beneficial, I think. Let's start the process.
Well, all right then. Did we get this guy's name? Sorry, Captain
No,
something.
you haven't asked him his name.
Whoops. I am so good. Excuse me, Captain, sir.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I never asked for your name.
Smith. John Smith.
Well,
It's a common name.
I mean, you're not wrong.
There are millions of them on Thord.
Millions, wow.
Millions
There's
of
two-
everything just about on Thor.
There's about 2 trillion people on Thord last time I checked.
You know, when's the last time you were in Thord? I guess you've been here 15 years. Never mind. Forget that
About
question.
20, 25 years. Hard to remember exactly.
Do you like hyperboat racing?
I mean, it seems dangerous and pointless.
Oh.
I
Well,
like
I'm
the,
not-
I
I'm
like
not
the
sure.
water and I like the sea, just to be clear.
Well, you know, I was going to show you something that, you know, I built on our ship that, you know, it's kind of cool for hyperboat racing, but sounds like you wouldn't be interested.
Aye, I'll take a look at your watercraft.
Just so you know, we didn't build it with safety in mind before you look at it.
He looks around at his ship.
Fair.
I technically didn't build this with safety in mind either, because I didn't build it.
So I
I
think
think
I would,
he's gonna wine and dine this guy.
yeah, I'm basically gonna like schmooze him on the way over, talk about how we built it, all the parts, schmooze him on the way back, just chatting it up, figuring out what his interests are.
He talks to you about how sad he is that he has to give up the museum, but in his heart, he's ready to settle down on Kos, which is the planet the space port is over. And he's going to set up an exhibit to the new number 500, the main character of a very old series called Solo Beveling, by the name of Chugong Dubu.
All right. Well, sounds like you got a plan, sir. And you know, Captain Smith, if we can, I guess, help you out in the start of that journey, I think we're here. We're willing to make an offer of 3.2, and you keep all the Steve Urkel stuff.
Make your... Well, choose what skill you're going to throw here. I think talk is definitely on the docket. There's a couple others I would take as well.
Yeah, I think
I would take administer, I think.
Oh no, we don't want that.
No.
I think talk is fine.
Come on,
Okay.
diplomat.
Charisma?
Yeah. Oh, you want your re-roll or whatever? Yeah, sure.
No. Oh yeah.
Because you have diplomat, that'll work here. Yeah, that would be a reason you'd want to do talk. Yeah.
Show me those ones. There we go.
Why are you like this?
Okay, roll another d6.
Hey.
Okay, so
All right, so a
it's a
9.
9.
Yeah.
All right, he holds out a hand to shake and he says, "For 3 million, you can keep the Steve Urkel stuff."
3 million flat. He
love
doesn't
it.
even. He just lowered the price.
He
and
knocks
gave us this-
200K off.
He doesn't want to
He
deal
just
with
likes
any of
it.
It's
that
gonna take
shit.
him.
Basically.
What do you
Oh my
think it's
God.
gonna cost him to take all that stuff off station and then get rid of it?
What reverse psychology he just played? The Uno reverse card.
Do you have 3 million credits to pay him right now?
Between the three of us and the Golden Goose's shared account, we have, let's see, we could put together 3 million and we would each still have over 100K.
Holy shit.
Right before you go and buy the determination of shit.
Yeah, that's
that
the
will
other
easily
aspect. Now,
cost over $10
they
million.
said we could buy it on credit.
Yeah, they did.
We are getting
Back
a
when
load
they
on
thought
that.
you had millions to put down on a loan.
Now, here's the thing: we're also gonna sell 5
shuttles.
shuttles here in salvage.
Oh yeah,
Or
that
we could
big,
just say-
big salvage money on shuttles full of
I
dead
mean,
people.
we just went from
100K
one Golden
maybe
Goose.
at best, but yeah, it's something.
All right, after a day's worth of
We
paperwork,
could do that, but can we negotiate a finance deal where we put 500K down and get our loan for the 2.5 mil? Or...
let's talk about this guy. Will take 3 million right now, and you are the
Okay.
official owners of the official Steve Urkel museum ship.
Pulls out the title from somewhere in his.
Well, Quentin will
Pulls out
first of
the
all
pinks, he
confirm.
signs it and hands it to you, and says, "I'll get the paperwork done with the portmaster."
All right.
Means that the captain's probably going to have to go be the one to get the determination because we're going to need Van-Vee to start working on getting those engines online.
Uh,
I thought you were just going to strip the spike drive out.
yeah, we're just gonna strip the spike drive, I think, right?
These
Okay,
engines, it doesn't, unless Van-Vee is capable of summoning a god to perform a miracle, these engines will not work again, no matter what he does to them.
Yeah.
You need to replace them.
All right. Yep. I guess it's time to go get the determination then.
I
Yeah,
think
let's do
Van-Vee
that.
he'd start working on stripping, but also trying to price out what we could get for scrapping the rest of it, just to try to recoup something.
Okay. You can get someone will need to make a administration check to sell the Steve Urkel museum ship and the 5 shuttles to the salvage yards.
I'm quite sure you don't
I
want
can
me
make
to
that
do that.
check. I can do that. Yeah. Ready? Here we go.
And I feel like when
Whoa, hold on, you're
I
going way
feel
too
like when
fast. I'm
you're
still pulling
putting
up.
together what we need to do to pull the
price of the
spike drive,
shuttle.
Yeah.
Minerva would be asking you for constant updates on like the like as you start to disassemble it, like, okay, what are the updated dimensions now? What did you have to cut off for brackets or whatever? So Minerva's giving you like in response to that, like, okay, then you're going to need to out of part of the hull cut this shape out in order to make a new mounting bracket for whatever to make sure we have what we need to mount that in the Hosta.
Don't screw up a single thing now, or you're going to F it up later.
Okay. I will take a +1 on this administration check then. Whoever's
Alright.
showing it. And it
Shall
will
do
be
so.
with intelligence rather than charisma because
All right.
you are making a presentation.
Ooh.
Believe.
Okay.
Whoa.
You're going to get the best possible price then.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
3 million.
Fuck yeah.
It's the exact value of the determination.
Fish.
On the Steve Urkel museum ship,
Mm-hmm.
you would get 3 million, except you're removing a $1 million spike drive from it, so they will give you $2 million for it.
Pretty damn good.
2 million back.
And then 5 shuttles is another 1 million at 30%. They'll give you 300,000 for that. So $2,300,000 credits.
That
Sorry.
ain't bad.
You know, we nail the important roles and we screw up all the funny ones.
I don't think that's true. You
Good
die.
both,
I like
honestly,
to-
I think.
I like to think it works that way.
Van-Vee certainly thinks that.
Yeah,
was
you can
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
cope
that's-
with that, but
That's what I'd say. We get
Like when we had to pick how many things how much of the cool tech do we get to keep? Got the highest roll, got to keep as many as we wanted.
That's true. Yeah,
I'm still
pretty
going to continue to dream about a world where you took the link. How that could have changed the
different.
game.
Instead, I went for the boat that we'll never use.
listen, I was considering that for the final few episodes, I would do a recap of everything that's happened in the show. And I keep coming to the point where you pick the pan back up out of Jace Bronwyn's trash can as being the most important moment of the entire show.
Yes.
Everything changed when you picked the pan out of the trash can.
Yes.
It did something. Genie in a bottle right there.
If I see, I mean,
I guess it's time for the
I think I might do that in real life. If I see someone talking to a pen and it looks like it's really something important, and I just chuckle like it's no big deal and I leave, I'd be like, I kind of want to know what just happened there.
Follow
I
your
think
bliss.
Yes, it's time for get the.
Let's do it.
Before
I'm
you go
determined.
to that, you receive a message,
Mhm.
Quentin. It is from a restaurant ship indicating that you have a reservation and the chef has prepared a meal for you.
All right. What's the name of the ship? What do you so,
It is called the Ashubhai sushi ship, and it serves from the planet Asubai Sushi. It serves local venison-based cuisine. So based on like a quick pop-up, you see that the ship carries the deer with it, and the deer like walk out and you interact with them. Like the restaurant inside the ship is like grassy, and the deer live there, and you sit down and you coexist with them while you eat one of the dead ones.
Amazing. This is
That's fucked up.
Your friend is delicious.
you know, hey, no, nature. Like honestly, this might be a lead-in thing or something.
How do you not think of Louis with that?
Right? Oh no, it's right, but like they eat capybara. Right? Like
They eat dead capybara, you know, like
Right,
naturally
exactly.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
They barbecue.
So I mean,
it,
cycle of
actually,
life
but-
is what it is. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
I mean,
well,
capybara meat needs to be. It's a little different than beef. You know what I mean? It's gotta cook for a while. You gotta break down those
that's
tendons.
fair. I wouldn't know.
Slow roasted pork.
I don't know if
But,
you know this, but the places where capybara live, they eat capybara regularly.
It makes sense, you know. I mean,
Everything
they eat guinea
dies.
pigs too. People. What is who did the reservation come from? How did it appear?
It comes from the
any
captain
note
of-
attached to it?
Captain Chef has
Captain
sent it to you.
Chef. Is it a limited number of people or
It says captain and crew.
and crew? All right. Well,
Your
everybody's
meal is
invited.
ready immediately.
Oh, immediately. Oh, Quentin really wanted to go purchase this ship first. Is there any? How do we?
Well, you've got travel time to get to that ship if you wanted to see if you could make the deal over comms.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
it's here at the spaceport, like at the shipyards. You could get there in like 10 or 15 minutes of travel.
all right. We'll head over that way. Well, everybody's invited, of course, and Quentin's going to message the sales guy that he's going to meet with and make sure that meeting is
Satoshi?
scheduled immediately
Sure.
after, ready to go.
You can use the same transit system to get over to Satoshi's offices outside the Showman. Yeah. Zoe and Iona will come to the meal. Are you bringing Van-Vee and Minerva?
Yeah, everyone's
to some
invited
extent?
on the ship, of course. Yeah.
Minerva's not going to take an armature.
Riding
I'm
along
just going to ride in
in the
somebody's
year.
comms.
I'll just listen to a hot mic.
But you know Van-Vee never turns his off, so
Yeah.
if knowing Minerva is staying behind with both armatures, I think Van-Vee would go.
Okay. You all arrive, and the concierge says, your table is waiting over here. Captain, the chef would like to speak with you privately. You could step this way, please. So you all enter it looks like you're outdoors, even though you are clearly inside a tubular frigate. It's got that Disney, Lucasfilms, like the Ark is all made up of video paneling that makes it look like you're outside in the Unreal Engine. The grass is real grass, like that's real soil underneath your feet.
Animal Kingdom in IMAX.
Next level
Yeah.
rainforest cafe.
And there are just some deer, some Nara deer that like stop and look at all of you and then begin moving towards you slowly as the concierge like hands you like little bits, pre-chopped bits of apple so that you can feed it.
I'm trying to figure out how Van-Vee would feel about this. I know how I feel, but
The concierge indicates to you you can choose wherever you'd like. He has a picnic blanket that he's going to roll out for everyone to sit on. And Quentin, you are pulled back into the kitchen where a number of robotic instruments are preparing your meal for you. And lighting strips on the floor have you walk towards what appears to be a freezer, and you hear a buzzing noise and an electronic voice says, authorization code.
Oh, what is my authorization code? My authorization code. Let's see. It is Sherman.
Okay. The door and then opens. And inside is someone wearing a Mandate era intelligence uniform. It's basically like a closet filled with electronic equipment, and he stands up. Dark hair, dark eyes, extremely pale. He holds a hand out to shake and says,
Thanks, Sam.
so I understand that I have you to thank for dealing with the artificial intelligence problem, Captain.
Well, I did my part, of course, but I think you know that we had a friend who did the heavy lifting, of course. But
Yes, of course, I'm authorized to know about these things. I was in contact with my superiors earlier today. They wanted me to pass along that they are very pleased about your proactiveness in solving these sorts of things for them, but they would prefer if you contacted them occasionally. You could be damaged during these exchanges unnecessarily, but again, your proactiveness is much appreciated. And Agent Johnson would like me to ask if there are any favors you would like done, because you have once again done him an excellent turn.
Favors. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I didn't come prepared with a list.
Well, I also would like to debrief you here, but if you're not prepared, I'll accept a written report from you before you leave the system.
All right. I'll send it your way, absolutely. We'll have to consider what our options are. Certainly do have a few needs, of course.
No, I assume one of them is being hungry. Please, I programmed the entire ship myself. You'll find the meal to be excellent. Zadier's name, would you like to know it?
Yes, actually, I would.
Well, you will be getting part of a deer that I called Falafel. He was a good, very friendly. He would enjoy being consumed by people and interacting with his brothers and sisters.
Our life, you know?
Yes. Yes, I do know. Please, Captain, go enjoy your meal. I have some reports to file.
Fantastic. Pleasure meeting you, and you'll get a message from me as soon as I have time to compose it.
Yes. Yes, of course. He shuts the door in your face.
When returns to the rest of the group, and
You bamf in and say, have a good evening, and then bamf out.
oh, that would be really funny.
Dangerous, too, to surprise an intelligence agent.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Quentin does not do that thing.
People
But he does
notorious
return.
for loving surprises.
Returns to his group and maybe taps out. I guess, no, Quentin would have had the mic on, so Minerva would probably have heard that concept, but does tap a quick message to Van-Vee as well, just informing him of the basics of come up with your short list of favors we might need called in.
I think Van-Vee won't respond, obviously, but he'll get the message and just kind of look up and be like, it's kind of, are you sure this is a good idea type thing? To keep, never mind, not here, not in front of these people. So I'll just, he doesn't say any of that, of course. It's just what his face is saying. But we'll just go back to dinner. And I guess he's trying to get to know Zoe probably a little bit better because she saved him. He had a great first impression and trying to repair that.
I mean, Zoe is really interested in these deer because obviously they don't have anything like it on Lita. And the fact that there is a roaming restaurant that brings you your meal somewhat literally is very impressive. It must be extremely expensive to eat here. The bill will be astronomical.
On the house, of course.
I understand which the favor you wanted is now.
No. This is just standard fine dining. I'm a high-profile guest. Payment is my presence. No.
Oh my god. You're gonna write a review. Send it to your followers.
That's right.
He's paying an exposure. Well, the good thing is the perimeter agency isn't charging you for this meal to begin with, but if you try to pay them an exposure, you might get a bullet to the back of the head.
It's fair.
Okay, so even though this isn't that long of a second half of the session, we had a very long first part, and we're right at 10 o'clock, so I feel like this is a good place to end. And when we get back in about 2 weeks, we'll start talking about loan calculators for your purchase of the Showman.
Hell yeah.
Before we do that, I would... Well, you did make a roll already. Yeah, I guess you've already pulled the spike drive out of the cruiser. It is going to take several days to do that, though, just to be clear. So I'm going to mark that down as May 15th. And the final thing to note is that May 15th is also the day that you get 1 faction experience point for having spent 4 months in Peaceful Kingdom. And you also receive a message indicating that no one has communicated with the movement for over 2 months. And what do you want them to do?
Okay, yeah, let's give orders. Fantastic. Looking forward to it.
You could have them attempt Peaceful Kingdom again and simply do nothing for 4 turns.
Can we consider this one? So are there other, I mean, like the way I understand it is that you can kind of make up your own goals in that system as well.
Yeah.
And in terms of what our goals are, we still have the goal of getting a presence onto a Stopel and a goal, of expanding essentially outside of Midipile. Is that a achievable or a target that we could set?
I will run you through what the goals are for factions. I think several of them are going to be way too militant, but we'll just go through.
At the end of the day, we just want the psionic assassins that no one else can have.
Sure, you have to make a ship that's capable of making psionic assassins first.
Would be
you have the tag, you just don't have the equipment. Military conquest requires you to destroy force assets of a rival faction. Commercial expansion requires you to destroy wealth assets of a rival faction. Intelligence coup requires you to destroy cunning assets of a rival faction. Planetary seizure requires you to become the legitimate planetary government by taking control of a planet. Expand influence requires you to plan a base of influence on a new planet. Blood the enemy requires you to inflict a number of hit points of damage on an enemy faction equal to your force, cunning, and wealth ratings, which would be 6. Peaceable Kingdom is don't take the attack action for 4 turns. Destroy the foe is destroy a rival faction. Inside enemy territory requires you to have a number of stealth assets on worlds with other planetary governments equal to your cunning score. Invincible Valor requires you to destroy a force asset with a minimal purchase rating higher than your faction's force rating. So your faction's force rating is 1, so if you destroyed a 2, that would be a success. And Wealth of Worlds requires you to send faction credits equal to 4 times your faction's wealth rating on bribes and influence. This money is lost, but the goal is considered accomplished. You have 8 faction credits from 4 months of income, and your wealth rating is 2. So you could do that, and by next month, you would get a second point of XP.
Oh,
sorry, it's difficulty 2, so you get 2 points of XP.
So yeah. And we have to spend how much? 4 times? So
4 times. So you need to spend all of your money on bribes.
Bribes explicitly.
Yes, you get nothing back from it, but you spend it on
fair.
bribes and influence.
Bribes and influence. Let's get bribes and influence. I mean, that makes some sense to me in terms of thinking about it from like Midipile's perspective and the way, from like an RP side. It's not so much it's seeking influence within Midipile, but it's mostly about repairing relationships. From that perspective, trying to give like money to people related to maybe the prime minister, right, and other high-ranking officials to sort of get them on board with the ideas of being like partners with Lita instead of trying to be like, like draconian, we own you kind of aspects. Something of that nature.
So bribe the planet we're on to make them like us more, so they hopefully are less aggressive towards our goals, basically.
Try to bribe Midipile so they're less hostile to us.
Yeah.
Right, but that's where our base is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
faction is based
that's where we
Midipile.
are.
That's where your headquarters and your base of influence are both located.
Right.
Yeah, so unless we feel like we can take over MINERVA at some point, feels like a good idea to not have such a
Extremely unlikely.
Yeah, it feels like a good idea to not be so.
We would need to play this game for years for you to have any sort of parity.
And if we spend all 8, then we don't have anything to buy assets that we could use to get another.
Well, next month you'll get another 2.
Yeah.
Now, how much
Which
would
we
it
could
cost to
then get.
buy the fleet we would need to
Well,
open up another branch office?
That's its own question. There
Yeah.
are several different types of assets that you can move things with. The problem is that you're limited in what you can buy based on
we are a
your level of
3,
stat. Yeah, so
1,
you're
2.
cunning 3, so you could buy a level 3 cunning asset,
Yeah.
which is quite limiting. You could, for
There's
instance, buy
covert
a
shipping, which would
freighter
cost
contract.
8. And
freighter contract
we
to
could
and
get
from
the freighter
Lita to bring
contract as
supplies.
well.
What is? I'm not seeing. Where is the shipping you're looking at?
Under cunning, it was covert shipping, cunning 3. It's a logistics facility.
Oh yeah, of course. I
And
believe
then
that would
the other
work. Let me
one-
just double check what the reading on that is. Any special forces unit, which I don't think you have a special forces unit,
Oh,
can
no,
be
we don't.
moved using covert shipping.
There you go. Freighter contract, yeah, that would be the best thing that we could get to be able to move things and get a thing on a thing. So I guess our goal should be expand influence, and we buy that freighter contract, which I think we can afford.
So the freighter contract costs 5, so you could buy it now, and
have
it
3
would appear
left.
next time.
And we could buy another one next time. So we have
Yes,
another 5.
that's correct.
Oh, we could get surveyors too, and I think where potentially. Ooh, okay. Can we do the surveyors can move on their own, and they give you a bonus on the expand influence, which lets you get a base on a planet. So
Yes.
let's buy some surveyors.
And you intend to have them move to...
Astapel.
Dopo? I think that was
Okay.
Minerva's, like, in that our main goal.
I
'Cause
mean,
we
you
had talked
could
to,
also move them to Lita.
we could, which would also be a good idea as well.
None of your goals say to expand influence. Whatever you have
Doesn't
in
have
your
to be a
mind,
particular place.
you have not put Astapel on paper anywhere that it matters to me.
Okay.
You could technically
expand
send them to
influence.
Lita, but for now, you buy them this turn, and next
Yeah.
turn you will be able to use them.
All right.
Which means you still need a goal.
Expand influence. I think that's a reason,
Okay.
like a goal with that purchase in mind.
You have no way to expand your influence right now, though, but you can put that
Right.
in until you get there. Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Expand influence.
Can we only purchase one thing per turn? Is that true? Or?
I double check. That is the way it used to be. Although I think if you
Sounds
buy
right.
copies of the same thing, let's see here. Assets can be purchased on any world. Acquiring an asset requires more than faction. Starship type assets can't be purchased. Okay, so you're good there. Some assets, no, you're good there. Only one asset can be purchased per turn by a
There it
faction.
is. Perfect.
Yep. They cannot attack, defend, or give any special benefits until the beginning of your next turn. Okay, so
We got
June
ourselves some
15th,
surveyors.
you will be able to use your surveyors.
How much do the surveyors cost? Can we just buy more next turn?
They cost 5.
They cost 4.
So either way, we can buy another
Or-
one next turn.
Double check.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 4.
So you can send one to Lita, one to Astapel.
That's true.
Well, just know making bases of influence also costs money.
Yes.
And it should also be noted that when you make a base of influence, it is an object that can be attacked. And when it is, it deals damage to your, not just to that base, but to your faction directly. Like Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'll be right back.
Okay. Cunning to cost 4. All right, let me just get that in there. 8. This costs 4. You have 4 left. And 1 experience point. Okay.
Oh, man.
Well, Kane. in the next 3 or 4 episodes, you could be looking at getting a wealth of experience points,
Yeah.
having finally put down a flag on another planet.
I like how it took us 30 episodes to realize we don't have to just buy a spike drive. We can just buy a ship with a spike drive.
Well, it needed to be a cruiser.
It needed to
Yeah,
be a
but we've
cruiser
never
size drive.
ever explored that
Yeah.
option.
No, it's true. We have not
So, of
actually
course,
gone out there
Iono
and
is
been
the
like,
first
hey, is
one
there
to suggest
salvageable
it.
stuff?
Mhm.
I know. Iono saves us all the time. This is why I'm constantly praising her.
This is why
And
she's
she's like,
the
"Stop. No, that's
GMPC
enough."
hanging out, letting you know really obvious stuff your character should know. But don't, because you're players, not people who live in this world.
It feels like there's an intro question here. How important is it to have an NPC in your group?
I always find that it's absolutely important to have an NPC around just to give
Yeah.
context. You need somebody to
Oh, it
go,
makes
hey,
such a
the thing
difference."
you're planning to do is literally insane.
Right.
Or,
Otherwise, you have
hey,
to be as a
you
character
can't
constantly.
You cannot
I'm a
spend
character. How do
20,000
I-
gold in this village. You're absolutely going to destroy the local economy.
The economy.
Not just of this village, but
Hey,
of the
Monster
entire
Musa, get out of
region.
here.
Should we recruit the villagers to fight the dragon? The dragon that breathes acid over a wide area?
Die.
All right, Quentin. You get 1 experience for convince Zoe to rebuild Lida. Van-Vee,
Yeah.
you sent no messages to Zach and made no attempt to leave system.
Nope.
And Minerva, you got a spike drive for the hostage, so 1. Acquire the ship.
Good.
I'll give you 1 if only because at the last second you made the roll to salvage the shuttles to get the money to buy the ship.
There.
I don't... Minerva, you get 1 point for working towards get enough resources attached to become a multi-system organization. I think you're the only one I can award long-term experience for. So everyone walks away with 2 except for Kain, who walks away with 3.
I get 1.
And the fact that you can't go to level 10 yet still hangs over you like the blade of Damocles.
Yeah, I've been
Let's just
pricing
loosen
out.
those seals. Come on.
I've been looking at the cost to buy a processing booster big enough that it needs to be mounted on a ship.
Cruiser size processing booster, like a
I feel
level
like
4
we're gonna have to go to like
something.
Thord for that
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, he was like, what favor could we ask for? And the first 3 things that came to mind were a spike drive upgrade kit.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
process, the
I
processing
like
node
that.
itself,
That's a good one.
or some sort of favorable lead to be able to get the cruiser size processor, or
Those are
or a
all pretty
link,
good options.
or access to link technology.
Links.
So the other one I'm going to throw out there is I like these bike drive upgrade kits. See if we can get that. That's great. And along with that, hey, you got a team that maybe can help us stealth on into that system and get this thing installed.
I mean,
y'all are good at that.
I brought it up before. You guys managed to get over there and find the hostel without going.
Yeah, that's just it.
before.
I don't really know what is like how
Right,
difficult
it's on the
this
far
is. It may not
side
be a
of the
problem.
black hole. The problem is you're quite a bit more famous this time.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you're going to be spending an extended period of time. And the final thing is
Fair.
the Hosta has no working systems. So even if it can fly, it cannot defend itself yet.
Yeah. But
It
that's
will
where
need
we're
a
coming
full
with
weapons
determination.
and system overhaul. You pulled the most valuable parts of the Hasta out of it. It was Minerva.
Yeah.
We just need to be there long enough to be able to get it to move,
It'll
and then we
be-
can take it somewhere safer.
That feels like a long time.
Yeah, it's going to be shipping a spike drive inside a spike drive case, which you don't have. You have to get the case to put the spike drive in so it doesn't interact with the other active spike drive. I feel like I've mentioned this several times that like spike drives are transported inside heavily shielded boxes so they don't interact.
I blame John Smith for that one.
You didn't tell them you were buying it for the spike drive. You just said we want to buy the ship.
Who wants to hear, hey, I'm going to buy your ship and rip it apart and gut it and then keep one part and sell and
He
scrap the
didn't
rest?
care. He gave you money to get rid of Steve Urkel.
I know. That was the best negotiation I've ever had.
I mean, it worked out though really well. Yeah, I think that in reality, that spike drive wound up costing us
Like $700.
what was it? Like, yeah, that's not bad.
There's our post-credit scene. Is just John
Watch the
Smith setting up a museum that says "Solo Beveling, I alone bevel," and it's a dude wearing an OSHA outfit, and he's got like an auto leveler, and that's it. The 500th most popular character in all of human history is a guy who goes around and is the only person left with a level in a post-apocalypse.
Can't wait for the spike drive case to be 2 million.
Just need a tube and some water, man.
That's funny.
I mean,
That's,
I guess
that's what it is, though. That's what and the marks on it, so you know when the air bubble's in the middle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that is a good point, though. If maybe the favor could be to smuggle us and the spike drive to the Hosta.
Yeah. It would be.
Us and our materials.
And provide defense for about 2 weeks.
Hey, you got at least 2 weeks to think about it. I'm sure you're gonna do your homework and talk about it in the Discord channel, and not 5 seconds before the show goes live after we talk about everything.
I
that's
think about
been
it all
up
the
with our
time, and
lives.
then I'm like, I should send that message.
Well, any closing thoughts about tonight's session?
I liked MINERVA and
I-
Van-Vee's
I-
heart-to-heart about dying.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were intending to go in that direction, but I totally wasn't picking it up until AP was like, just so you remember, you were dust and you saw it all happen. I was like, that's a good angle.
No.
Yeah.
When you died, you saw nothing. You saw blackness in every direction. You can't interact with anything when you're dead.
You're
I remember
trapped in
you
the
said
same
you
kind
like
of
looked
mode
down
that
on your
Minerva
own
does.
body, but I didn't want to interrupt it. It was such a
Yeah, I
serious
gotcha.
scene. But yeah, no, you didn't look down at your own body. I recall saying at the time that you saw blackness in every direction.
Oh, so I really
You have-
even more so.
Yeah, you have no voice. There's no way to speak or scream.
Right.
Yeah. No,
Move.
you've had a very Minerva experience.
But you can tell my memory is really good for about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was an interesting conversation, and it was definitely because of the dust.
Is that
no-
where you were trying to bring it? Is that what were you thinking about that before you brought it up?
Mhm.
Oh, well, I'm just slow in the uptake then.
I mean, Minerva didn't want to ask any leading questions.
Yeah, Van-Vee may not lead the leading questions, but Dunamis does.
Uh,
All right.
yeah.
Well, I won't be thinking about you when I'm in National Harbor next week, going on my Frederick Douglass driving tour.
Sounds fun.
Think about that during the next 2 weeks. My cruelty.
Think about that, not thinking about.
We know you're gonna miss us. It's okay.
Okay.
It's like, okay.
All I'm thinking about right
Callousness.
now is
The
that
heartlessness.
And you just got that 20% spike right back.
all I'm thinking about right now is, damn, I think I want to go get some venison tomorrow.
Mm,
Man.
it's not bad.
All right.
This reminds me of a time that my brother-in-law fed a deer heart to my wife and didn't tell her ahead of time.
Oh my god. Wow, this is great. What's in it?
Deer heart. Didn't go over well.
Yeah, I bet. Listen, deer's a very fine meat. I don't know about the heart, though. I do know
It is
about
not.
the liver. Deer pate is pretty decent. All right, friends. Well, maybe I'll get some deer pate by the next episode in 2 or more weeks. We'll see you then. Have a good time zone. Goodbye.